I want to talk about another example of total hubris when it comes to billionaires throwing their money around and thinking that, oh, we will all just fall in line and watch their garbage network. I'm talking about OZY Media. If you don't know what this story is about, pay attention. This is absolutely fascinating. So I didn't know much of anything about OZY Media. Were you aware of OZY Media at all up until like a few weeks ago?
Nope. Never had heard it.
I never heard about it. I never watched one of their videos. None of their videos were ever suggested to me, by the way. Like, typically content in this vein might be suggested to me. I never saw it, never heard about it, no videos, nothing. OZY Media. Who the heck even knew about this thing? Here is their flashy website, by the way, OZY Media. And they've got YouTube shows and media. They have magazines and the Carlos Watson show is supposed to be their most watched show on YouTube, right? It's their crown jewel, Carlos Watson, who was also the CEO of the company. Well, it all started, this OZY Media story started with a column from Ben Smith at the New York Times. I'm not a fan of New York Times at all, but occasionally, once in a while, people like Ben Smith actually do some good reporting. So he blew the lid off of this company called OZY. Smith revealed that in February of here's his column. Smith revealed that in February of 2021, OZY Media was in the final stages to raise $40 million from Goldman Sachs. During the fundraising call, though, they had this really bizarre incident. Did you hear about this incident? The phone?
Mm-mm.
So, it was so bizarre. So they're on the phone and during a conference call raising this money, okay? And oddly, as they report, I can't pull this up now. They had a strange interaction with someone on the phone who pretended to be an executive at YouTube. Okay, wow, this is great. We're on this fundraising phone call for $40 million, right? And an executive from YouTube is on the call, kind of like confirming that OZY Media is like a legit thing. Wow, this is great, right? We're going to funnel a lot of money. Goldman Sachs, we're going to give a lot of money to this thing. Well, it felt weird. So after the call, OZY Media, they contacted the person that they had just met with on the phone. And they called the guy from YouTube and they discovered that he had no idea what they were talking about. So the voice on the other end of the phone was not a YouTube executive at all. It was actually the COO of OZY Media on the phone pretending to be an executive from YouTube. So this is unbelievable. So then Ben Smith reveals that OZY was founded by the CEO named Samir Rao and the CEO Carlos Watson, formerly of Goldman Sachs. And it's all fake. The whole thing is fake. They sold the idea of this millennial media company back in 2013. They raised initial millions of dollars at the time from Lorraine Powell Jobs, the widow of Steve Jobs, Silicon Valley capitalists like Ron Conway, even David Drummond, and the chief legal officer of Google, right? So these are huge heavy hitters in the media space. And I remember hearing about this thing getting off the ground from some media people that I knew at the time. And they even raised money from Axel Springer. It's a huge media conglomerate in Germany that just bought Politico, by the way, for $1 billion. They raised $35 million from Mark Lazarus. He's a hedge fund manager. And the co-owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. They raised money from the Ford Foundation because they wanted to support a black-owned media company, right? And in April of 2020, it had 1 year ago, it had a valuation of $159 million. And that was because it was based on $89 million that they raised. Think about that for a minute. Their valuation was based on all of this money that they raised. Well, turns out the whole thing was a joke. The whole thing was fake. So they started putting out these YouTube videos, these Carlos Watson YouTube videos, and oddly, no one was watching them at all. Like, they have a magazine. They were even putting on like a big OZY Media Festival. What did you know about this company?
Me, absolutely nothing. Until I started hearing about it in the news, nothing. I never heard of them.
Yeah, nothing at all. I never heard a peep about this company.
Never saw any of those videos that you're talking about, nothing. And I'm on YouTube a lot.
Yeah. So after the story full, like after the story runs, 5 days later, the company is out of business. Here's Ben Smith talking to our old friend Brian Stelter over at CNN, as he's, by the way, a reliable source, interviewing him about media, media fraudsters and so forth. But it's funny. But listen to Ben Smith, regardless of the source. And he was surprised just how quickly this whole thing collapsed.
Real problem building a kind of non-billionaire audience.
Right. So then they have to start paying for promotion, paying for people to watch their videos. They create this facade, and then it all tumbles down within 5 days of your column. Did you expect the company to shut down 5 days after your column?
I was shocked by how fast it happened. I mean, I think part of it is things just happen faster now. But I think part of it was that advertisers and their investors felt misled, and it's pretty hard to come back from that.
No recovery at all. What does this tell us about digital media writ large, and will there be more OZYs?
I think that's a thing people like to say, and I don't really think it says that much about digital media writ large. This wasn't a little exaggeration of something that, everybody else was doing. This was a company that really didn't have an audience and was boasting of a massive audience and valuing itself at hundreds of millions of dollars. I think these things pop up in all sorts of industries. I think it does expose, how little attention so-called sophisticated investors often pay when they're really going with their kind of gut feel about a founder, with their instincts, and with who else has already joined the club. And Laureen Powell-Jobs is an old friend of Carlos's and was the first person in the door. And I think a lot of other investors thought, you know what, cool, she's in, I'm in, and didn't look much deeper. Real problem building that.
Unbelievable.
So, I got some breaking news for you though, Clayton.
Yeah.
So check this out. Just a few minutes ago, OZY Media CEO says decision to close has been reversed.
Ooh.
The CEO of OZY Media says a recent decision to shutter the company has been reversed. We're going to open for business, so we're making news today, OZY CEO Carlos Watson said while appearing Monday on the Today Show. This is our Lazarus moment, if you will. This is our Tylenol moment. Last week was traumatic. It was difficult, heartbreaking in many ways. OZY's board of directors said in a statement obtained by New York Times on Friday, it was the heaviest of hearts that it was announcing their closing. At OZY, we've been blessed with a remarkable team of dedicated staff, and the board reportedly said to employees in a statement, many of them are world-class journalists and experienced professionals to whom we owe tremendous gratitude and who are wonderful colleagues. It is therefore with the heaviest of hearts that we must announce today that we're closing OZY's doors. And then it says the reporting closing came just days after an earlier story in the Times. So no, it's sad and it's difficult. He told Today it was wrong. Obviously, they figured it out very quickly. So says pretty much there. Oh, wow. This is the part that I thought was funny. Watson, during the Today interview, denied having any knowledge of a plan to deceive investors, which in a separate statement to the Times, he chalked up to the executive going through a mental health crisis.
So the person that called and faked being the YouTube executive. Okay, let me just put that into perspective for a second, okay? You're on a conference call in order to raise $40 million from Goldman Sachs, right? Oddly, on this same conference call, there's one of your team members is pretending to be a YouTube executive. Why do you think that is? In order to appear to be a bigger media company than you actually are in order to raise money, right? So if you're Goldman Sachs and you're on this call and you're like, hey, we have Carlos Watson on the phone. We've got Samir Raoul on the phone. We've got an executive from YouTube on the phone. Wow. Okay. This is legit. So that was just mental health. That was just a mental health slip up. He was depressed. He had anxiety. And so he pretended to be a YouTube executive during a conference call.
It says Watson, who founded the digital media company based in California that distributes newsletters, video segments, and podcasts across various digital platforms, said he was not on the conference call with YouTube and said part of the fundraising process, you end up talking to a lot of people, and I'm not on every call.
Okay.
So he's just throwing his guy under the bus.
Yeah, so he's not there. But hey, we are, as he says, we are open for business, he says, now, according to just a few moments ago on NBC. This is our Lazarus moment. Going to rise up from the ashes. Yes.
Jesus.
Like we're a phoenix rising up. So, okay. Now, at the heart of all of this, if you were to go to Now, OZY doesn't even, we'll see if their YouTube channel is back up, because this morning I went to check their YouTube channel. It was gone. I couldn't find it. OZY Media. So if you go to OZY Media's YouTube channel and you went to, like right now, I can't even find their YouTube channel. Like, oh, here it's back. Is this it? I don't even think this is it. This is like a different one. No, that's not even the same OZY Media. Oh, that's OZY Media. I can't even find it. I think it's still down. Like it's not even there. So OZY Media is not there, but that's Carlos Watson. So anyway, when I looked at the OZY Media videos and you look at Carlos Watson's show, one of the reasons why all of this is considered, fraudulent is because they were, it seemed like they were lying to, I mean, you can put two and two together and make your own determination about it, but it seemed like they were lying to their advertisers and to their investors, that their videos were actually getting tons of views. Clearly, they had these Carlos Watson videos, and they had like hundreds of thousands of views and like 5 comments. I don't know if you notice, like on this channel, we get hundreds of comments, and and we don't get hundreds of thousands of views every time on a video by any chance, but it clearly shows that they're paying for views, does it not?
Yeah. So I'm looking at one of their videos right now. Their channel is up. They've got 3.87 thousand subs, right? This video that has 409,000 views. Let me go to my screen here.
I typed really OZY Media. That's why I couldn't find it.
Oh, yeah. You're looking for drugs.
Yeah.
So OZY Media right here, 3.87 thousand subs, which is really small. I've got that on my channel. They've got 409,315 views on this with 13 comments. Oh, wow. Ron's calling out here. 409,000 views and only 11 comments. Seems to me like somebody might be trying to game the system.
Exactly. So if you've got that many views, clearly they were paying for views, right? So their advertisers are like, wow, they got a lot of views on this channel, right? We got a lot of views on this channel, and there's like 5 comments and like 4 likes. No one's no human being is actually watching these videos. And this is the hubris, right? These $1 billion, these big media tycoons, or not even media tycoons, all of these all of these millionaires getting together. And even in the face of the fraud, they were still investors that were in the face of the fraud, still defending these people, showing like they're not actually making any money. This is all garbage. No one's actually watching this content. And I think it just speaks to, like, that's why I love doing this show, because we don't have any money backing at all. I don't have millions of dollars funding this channel. We cover stories that actually matter to you, right? We cover stories that matter to you and your family. We call out dishonesty and fraud in the marketplace. We hold these people accountable. And guess what? That's why we have such a large audience here on this channel.
You know what's crazy, though?
They got millions of dollars and built a media channel, a media network that no one watched. No one watched, and they tried to manufacture views. It just speaks to this hubris. It just blows me away.
Well, and what's crazy is the companies, the news channels that do have the billions and millions of dollars behind them with ad revenue have the platform that we're on, those billions also behind them, because where we do have no money for creating the content and everything, we do have a $1 billion company against us saying what we can and can't say.
Right.
And they're not telling them what they can and can't say on those channels that do have that kind of backing.
Right. So they could funnel all of this money to YouTube. They can get all of these executives together and glad hand each other. They can go to lunch with from people from Google and so forth. And then when they cover stories that would otherwise cause us harm, they're able to get away with it. That's how these here is Carlos Watson just a few moments ago on the Today Show. I wish I had audio here, but I don't. But here he is, just a few moments ago on NBC, basically saying, "We're back, baby. We're sticking around." What's amazing too is that he was even a guest on like Stephen Colbert's show. Like Colbert had him on and called him like a media mogul. I remember seeing a video in the feed of him being on Colbert. I'm like, why is this guy, who's like a manufactured star, on Colbert, like, because they probably pay them off. You know, they just like get on the phone, like, hey, you got to have Carlos Watson on your show, Steven. You know, he's created this really amazing network where he's getting just tons of views. All these millennials are flocking to his channel, and it's all fake. It's all fake.
Well,
it's
and
total garbage.
I mean, when all these people are going out and promoting their books and everything on these shows, Colbert and all that, they're paying for those spots. They're paying to be on those shows. But here's the thing too. Think about this. That guy, the CEO, unless you had an environment where that was allowed, that CEO or CMO or whatever it was, the marketing officer, whatever, to make that statement and pretend to be YouTube, you're not going to do that. I don't care. Like mental crisis. That's because that's what the landscape had been created, to be. They were corrupt from the core. So those corrupt people, they're like the worst of the used car salesmen you can think of. They're just all about trying to make money and all that stuff. So they'll do anything they got to do it. So that guy that pretended to be YouTube, he's just going to be a scapegoat for all this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at the Carlos Watson show, right? Like all these guests, right? They probably paid to come on there. Like 2.1 million views with Fauci. These are all, and like no comments at all. Megyn Kelly, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Matthew McConaughey, 1 million views 4 months ago. Wow. 95,000 subs. I'm going to tell you right now that if you're getting 2 million views, 1 million views, and all you have is 95,000 subs, there's a huge problem. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and by the way, how are you verified? How'd you get a verified channel? Oh, because you paid for it.
Yeah, because that's not supposed to happen until 100,000.
Yeah. So how do you get a verified channel without 100,000 subs?
And look here, OZY Media, the channel right here. Let me put myself on video really quick. Here we go. 3.87 thousand subs verified.
Yeah. 3,000 subs verified. Yeah.
So you think YouTube isn't helping them along somehow?
What is OZY Media? Wow. Yeah, what is OZY Media? Anyway, I'm just stunned by this. So you're going to see a lot more. I mean, anyway, middle of our story, we had breaking news that OZY Media is not defunct. I guess they are sticking around.
They're just going to get rid of the mental guy.
I wonder, is anyone actually going to watch this? How long do you give OZY Media? I give OZY Media 2 more months. 2 more months to save face. Right around the holidays, they're going to close this thing down. Right? They're going to try to make some of their money back somehow. Now that they've got some of the press, you're a guest on the Today Show. Like you're going to get some extra traffic from that, right? You're going to get some extra traffic. You're going to try to make some money, recoup some money for your advertisers, and then you're going to close shop. I'm going to say 2 months. I'm betting 2 months. Who wants to bet with me in the chat? Let me know.
They're calling it their Lazarus moment. Well, just so you know, Lazarus still died.
Right. I was going to say, if you know the story of Lazarus, yeah, and like Sting writes a song called "The Lazarus Heart." I mean, exactly. I mean, what you need is like maybe a phoenix would be a better example, better word to use there than a Lazarus.
I think they were probably trying to tug at the heartstrings of the Christian conservatives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably right. Grim says, hey, where's my verification? I put out better content than they do. Exactly. Oh, boy. So let me know in the chat. How long do you think they have? 2 months? I give them 2 months. By Christmas time, when everyone's not paying attention, the holidays, they're going to quietly shut down. They'll kind of bury it around the new year, the holiday time when no one's paying attention. Anyway, that's my prediction.
I'm going to say 6 months, just to give them their, their time in the media cycle.
In the sun. We'll see.
Because they seem like a really great organization,
Right.
Yeah, I learned so much from that Matthew McConaughey interview that it was life-changing.
Right.
I didn't comment or like it or anything. I
just love the amount of money they've spent on this stuff. I mean, like, look at these, like, I mean, I could build a better studio than this stuff, like, Oh, cutting edge interviews. Cutting edge interviews.
What, he's just replaying other people's interviews?
Yeah, these are like replaying other people's interviews.
That's all the whole channel is?
No, here it is.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Here's the Carlos Watson show. Yeah. Get a better earpiece, by the way. Even I have a better earpiece. Can't see my giant thing on my, just because my hair is a little grazed, you can see my earpiece now.
He has earpiece.
Thanks for subscribing to the channel. You can also become a channel member by going to morninginvest.com/join, where you can stick it to the mainstream media and support independent journalism. We're able to bring you the stories that you won't see on any of the major billionaire-backed networks. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time, everyone.